In this video, we're going to talk to you guys about how you can hit it closer to the flag a lot more often, a lot more consistently, and with a little bit more jazz than just playing the standard bump and run with an A-tie. And you see so often, you'll see the world's top players play shots from here, and you'll see the ball land near the flag, couple of stops, and then even come back. Now, how do you do that? Because it's something which, if you can learn to have this shot in your arsenal, distance control all of a sudden becomes a lot easier, and it becomes a lot more simple to hit it closer to the flag. So what have I done there? If we talk about setup, I'm going to have the ball nicely in the middle. I've got a nice narrow stance so that I can rotate freely around my body. The last thing you want, and Chris will agree with me here, the most frustrating thing to see around the greens is someone who looks like they're going to hit a full 7-iron, because from here it is impossible to play that shot. I've tried to play it, but you'll see how it's gone a lot higher and it's run out. Very difficult to control distance because I've had to add dynamic loft here. I can't turn properly and get the right dynamic loft into that shot. It would be impossible with the incorrect setup. So nice and narrow. I actually like to have my left foot fanned out a little bit. The reason for that, nice new shoes then, Chris, aren't they? Very nice, Puma them. The reason for that is because that allows my hip to be set as well. So in the golf swing, we all know sequencing is massively important. So if I go to the top of the backswing, I start my downswing with my lower body, with my hips. So sequencing is massively important to get to the correct impact position. When it comes to short game, we don't need that because we're not trying to create loads of speed. We're trying to create consistency. Consistency in club head speed, in ball speed, in launch angle, and of course in dynamic loft. Now the way that we do that is by making something repeatable. Repeatable is consistent, and from here you can see the ball position's always consistent, always in the middle. If I'm trying to play a bump and run, I might play it back a little bit. I don't want too much forward shaft lean though, because if I have too much forward shaft lean, that leading edge digs into the ground. That means you're going to have too much turf interaction. You're probably going to duff a few. You're not going to get that consistency, and from there that makes it very difficult to hit it close to the flag. So if I have that ball, again, correct position, nice stance. The other thing I'm thinking about is how far back do I take this club? Because obviously if I have more club head speed, that means the ball's going to launch in the air a little bit more. When it's in the air, then the elements can attack it. You can probably hear that wind. Apologies if it is ruining the audio of this video a little bit, but it's important to get out here and practice in the wind and teach you guys in the wind as well. So I need to make sure that I've got a nice consistent takeaway here, and from there I have a nice consistent rotation through my body. So you can see that that one's landed up near the flag again, it's spun again, and I've got a little bit of ground interaction, but the ground interaction is with the back of the club, it's with the bounds here. Guys, Chris has got a fantastic drill that you can use to help you do this. It's a really good method and a really good way of making sure you not only get good at short game, but get good at golf.
Okay, so as always, fantastic
better than the camera work.
Fantastic kick of the camera, but good points from James. And the main thing in short game is what we want to see is consistency, and a lot of it comes down to a consistent setup. But then where people get confused is, right, am I putting more loft on it? Which club should I choose? Am I hinging my wrist? Am I unhinging my wrist? What kind of shot? Is it high? Is it low? That's what you've got to decide. You've got to think about when you're in a shot here, what are you selecting? What kind of flight do you need? What kind of things do you need to do to that golf ball to get it as close as possible? So once we've got a good solid setup, like James says, nice and narrow, left foot turned out because that helps us rotate through the shot easier, we've now got to think about, right, if I want to play a low shot with a little bit of spin, which again is a more high tariff shot, so depending on your level and how much you can practice, I wouldn't recommend trying this shot all the time. But it is jazzy. So middle of the stance, all I'm going to think now is, right, I want to make a late release down to the golf ball, because to get a lot of spin, we do need to take off some dynamic loft to get the ball to grip the face. Once we've got it to grip the face, we also then need to think, I need to hit a little bit down, but I'm also obviously still releasing that club. So I'm taking loft off, I'm hitting down, but we are releasing, but we're releasing late. If I can do that, I can get my ball position nice and consistent. I can think a late release, and you'll see there, launch pretty good and stop pretty quick. But you'll see it's very hard to time that. So you'll see it did pop up a little bit more than I want. So if I now exaggerate that a little bit more, I can think, right, release even later. I can get that down at the ball. That is now launched lower, and James will see that spin and release out slightly. If I then want to play a higher shot, all I'm going to do is think about, yes, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm thinking about turning, but instead of the release being really late and down here at the ball, I'm going to make it a little bit before that. So I'm going to start to think right now for a mid trajectory, my ball position stays the same, my weight is left, and I'm now going to go a little bit earlier with that release. That's launched a little bit higher, and it stopped quick. So it launched high, stopped quick, and then nice and easy. Oh, I do have one more ball in my pocket. I thought we'd run out. If I want to play that high shot, like you think, position stays the same. All I'm now thinking is the first thing I want to release is this club head, but if I stop turning, I will hit it thin. So it's essential that we keep the body moving with all of these shots. You can just see my body's turning, but I'm just changing where I release that club head. But from here, nice and easy, I can release that early, catch that nice and clean, and lands very soft. You'll see I've still got some interaction with the ground on all of those shots. I've not took a big divot, but I've played 3 different flights, and that's going to help you get good at golf.
I'd like to apologise, I've kicked the camera about 14 times there. So.
Well, try better next time.